My sister, 34F, is mad at me, 40M, for keeping her ex employed and promoting him after he strayed. How can I show her this is purely a business? I found myself in a rather complicated situation recently, one that has left me questioning the boundaries between family loyalty and professional responsibility. It all started when my sister, Sarah, who is 34 years old, became furious with me for keeping her ex-boyfriend Josh employed at my business and even promoting him after he had strayed from their relationship. Let me give you a bit of background. I'm a 40-year-old business owner with a small team of 8 employees. A couple of years ago, I hired Josh as a favor to Sarah. He didn't have the typical experience I would look for in a new hire, but he fit in naturally from day one and quickly became a significant contributor to our success. Everything was going smoothly until about 3 months ago when the news broke that Josh had been having an affair with Sarah's best friend Ashley. To make matters worse, Ashley is now pregnant. Understandably, Sarah was devastated. She left Josh and moved back in with our parents, while Josh got engaged to Ashley and started a new life with her. Despite my personal feelings about the situation, let's just say I think he made some poor choices. I tried to remain professional with Josh. I believed that personal matters should not affect his work performance. However, things took a turn when one of my longtime employees faced serious health issues and had to take a leave of absence. This left a significant gap in our team, and Josh stepped up admirably to fill that void. He was essential in keeping our operations running smoothly during this challenging time. As it became clear that my other employee wouldn't be returning anytime soon, I found myself needing to promote someone. Given Josh's performance, he was the obvious choice. I decided to give him a promotion along with a substantial raise, which was about 50% of what the previous employee was making. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Sarah found out about the promotion from a mutual friend and was livid. She confronted me, and so did our parents, expressing their disappointment and anger. I felt conflicted. On one hand, I understood their perspective. On the other hand, I believed that personal life and professional life should be treated separately. I tried to explain my reasoning to them. Josh had not broken any workplace rules, and firing him would not only be unfair to him, but would also negatively impact the rest of my team. We had a profit-sharing system in place, and losing a capable employee like Josh would mean turning down jobs and increasing the workload for everyone else. The job market was tough, and finding a qualified replacement would take months, if not longer. As I reflected on the situation, I realized that while I was trying to keep my business afloat, I was also navigating a minefield of family emotions. I had to consider how my decision would affect my relationship with Sarah and our family dynamics. I knew that my choice to promote Josh could be seen as a betrayal, but I also felt it was a necessary business decision. In conversations with others, I was challenged with hypothetical scenarios. For instance, someone asked how I would feel if Josh had cheated with my partner instead. That question lingered in my mind, making me realize that while I could maintain a level of objectivity in this situation, it was much harder when personal feelings were involved. Ultimately, I stood by my decision. I believed that Josh, despite his personal failings, had proven himself as a valuable employee. I worried about the message it would send to my team if personal issues could jeopardize someone's job. After all, I had seen many employees go through relationship troubles over the years, and I had never disciplined anyone for their personal choices. As I navigated this family drama, I was left wondering how to balance my responsibilities as a brother and a business owner. It was a delicate dance, and I knew that whatever decision I made would have lasting implications for my family and my business. In the end, I hoped that with time, Sarah would come to understand my perspective, even if it took a while for the dust to settle. I found myself in a rather complicated situation recently, one that involved my sister, her ex-partner, and the delicate balance of family and business. It all started when my sister, Sarah, who is in her mid-30s, went through a tough breakup with a guy named Josh. Their relationship ended because he strayed, and understandably, she was heartbroken. Now here's where it gets tricky. Josh had been working for me for a while, and despite the personal turmoil, he was performing exceptionally well in his role. In fact, he was doing a better job than the person he replaced. The hiring market is tough right now, and I had a responsibility to my business and the 7 employees who rely on it for their livelihoods, including my wife and 3 kids. So I made the decision to keep him employed and even promote him, which, as you can imagine, didn't sit well with Sarah. I knew that my decision was purely business-driven, but I also understood that it might come off as a betrayal to my sister. I felt conflicted. On one hand, I wanted to support her and be there for her during this difficult time. But on the other hand, I had to consider the welfare of my business and my employees. I decided that giving Sarah some space would be the best course of action while I figured out how to navigate this situation. After a few days of silence, I received a lot of feedback from friends and family, and it was clear that many felt I should reconsider my stance. Some suggested that I should have fired Josh for personal reasons, but I knew that would lead to more complications. I had to remind myself that I couldn't let personal feelings dictate my professional decisions. I did have a conversation with Josh after the breakup, where he expressed his remorse and explained that he had fallen in love with someone else. I made it clear that I didn't want to discuss his personal life at work. Our interactions needed to remain strictly professional. He respected that boundary, and I was relieved. As time went on, I realized that I needed to address the situation with Sarah directly. During a family dinner, I noticed she was acting distant, and it was clear that the tension was palpable. After dinner, I asked her to step aside for a private conversation. I reiterated that my decision regarding Josh was based solely on business and had nothing to do with my feelings for her. To my surprise, she admitted that she understood my perspective, but was embarrassed by her reaction. She shared that she had been going through a rough patch, feeling overwhelmed by her job, her recent breakup, and the anxiety of possibly not finding someone else in time to start a family. It was heartbreaking to hear her express those feelings, and I realized just how much she was struggling. In that moment, I wanted to be a supportive brother. I asked her what her ideal job would be, and it turned out that one of my close friends was looking for someone to fill a position that aligned perfectly with her skills. I offered to connect them, knowing that my friend owed me a favor from a previous situation. The next day, they connected, and I hoped this would provide her with a fresh start. It was a small step, but I felt it was important to show her that I cared and wanted to help her move forward. Navigating the waters of family and business is never easy, especially when emotions run high. But in the end, I learned that open communication and support can go a long way in mending relationships, even amidst the chaos of life's challenges. I recently found myself in a challenging situation involving my sister and her ex-partner. To give you some context, my sister, who is in her 30s, had been through a tough breakup with a man named Josh. Their relationship ended after he made some poor choices, including being unfaithful with her best friend. Understandably, my sister was heartbroken and upset, and as her older brother, I wanted to support her through this difficult time. However, I also had a business to run, and Josh was one of my employees. He had been performing well at work, and I found myself in a dilemma. Should I fire him because of his personal life, or should I keep him on for the sake of the business? I ultimately decided to keep him employed, believing that separating personal feelings from business decisions was essential. I thought it was important to treat my employees fairly and not let personal matters interfere with professional responsibilities. This decision did not sit well with my sister. She was understandably hurt and felt betrayed that I would continue to support someone who had caused her so much pain. I tried to explain to her that my choice was purely business-oriented. Firing Josh would not only be an act of revenge, but would also negatively impact my business and the other employees who relied on it. I wanted to focus on helping people and achieving goals rather than acting out of retribution. After some time and a lot of discussions, my sister and I managed to talk things through. I listened to her feelings and acknowledged her pain. It was crucial for me to show her that I cared about her well-being while also maintaining my business principles. Eventually, she began to understand my perspective, and we reached a point of reconciliation. In a positive turn of events, I was able to help my sister secure a new job that she was excited about. She will be starting soon, and I believe this opportunity will bring her much happiness and fulfillment. We even spent a lovely day at an amusement park with my kids, which she described as therapeutic. It was heartwarming to see her smile again and enjoy time with family. Now, my sister is looking for an apartment nearby, eager to be closer to us and spend more time with her nephews. I'm thrilled to see her moving forward and embracing new beginnings. While the situation with Josh remains complicated, I'm grateful that my sister and I have worked through our differences and are on good terms again. Reflecting on this experience, I realize how important it is to balance personal relationships with professional responsibilities. It was a tough decision, but I believe that ultimately we both learned and grew from it. I hope that my sister finds happiness in her new job and that we can continue to support each other as family.